If you don't know Dungeons & Lasers and Archon Studios yet, you are in for a treat. They have a long history of making phenomenal minis that are arguably the best value you are gonna find for really high quality minis. They've successfully completed more than a dozen Kickstarters. They make games and minis for some huge properties like Pathfinder, Starfinder, Wolfenstein, He-Man, and Heroes of Might and Magic, which has a special place in my heart for people around my age. The same is true for He-Man. But today they are launching their most ambitious mini Kickstarter yet, and if you want a treasure trove of minis without breaking the budget, watch this paid Kickstarter preview so I can tell you all about it. This is Dungeons & Lasers 5 World of Deuslair. And not only can you get more than 400 absolutely gorgeous minis that you can use in your D&D games and your Pathfinder games or whatever game you play, but this time they have built out their own campaign setting with their own unique races, a full bestiary of unique creatures, and a full campaign to explore it. I'll tell you more about the world and the campaign here in a little bit, but if you know me and you hang out here at the Gallant Goblin, you are probably here for those minis, right? Because it's time sensitive, be aware that if you get your pledge in the first 48 hours, you can get a free Owlbear mini, which looks like this. You can go get your pledge in now using our link in the corner and the doohickey down below me, and using our link lets them know that you came from us, which helps us make more content. But remember that you can always alter or cancel your pledge anytime between now and when the campaign ends, so you can go get your placeholder pledge in now and then make a final decision later on. As you take a look at some of the minis that are available in this set, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what makes them special. This is the Fortress of Drogza. The first thing you're probably going to notice is that some of them have parts in gold that change. These are called Multipart minis, and they're similar to the Frameworks minis from WizKids. You can mix and match the pieces to create your own little customizable warband. And you see the Royal Guard up there says 6X. That means you get enough pieces to make 6 Royal Guards. It really is a warband. In the Fortress of Drogza here, you'll get 6 customizable Royal Guards, 4 Magic Smith Apprentices, and 4 Paladins of Order, plus all the other minis. So, for example, here's another mini called a Disciple of Chaos Trooper. And here's all the parts you'll get with it, so you'll be able to make your own little Disciple of Chaos Trooper warband just as you like, picking between heads and weapons and other little details. So let me tell you about the core set of minis that you can pick up on this Kickstarter, as it stands now before the launch and before the stretch goals. The core set includes 3 collections. First, the Fortress of Drogza, which I just showed you. That's 22 minis. The Fortress of Drogza is a powerful human faction that's been able to harness the power of the roots of life to create armies of beastkin and imbue their troops with fey magic. Then we have the Rido Alliance, which you can see here. This is a coalition of races who have banded together to fight against the Drogza, who they see as tyrannical, all the while fighting corruption within their own ranks. It is a diverse collection of really cool looking creatures and quite a few multi-part minis, though you may be wondering about the Harrot and the Krill and some of the other names which may be unfamiliar. Well, those are going to be in the Bestiary, so you'll be able to bring them right to your table to give your players a surprise, and you can certainly use them for regular D&D creatures as well. There are 35 models in this collection. And next up is the Disciples of Chaos, a group of creatures tainted by madness from the god of chaos, watching the war between the other 2 factions from the shadows and getting ready to implement their own ultimate scheme, whatever that might be. This set has 42 minis, including lots of multi-part minis and that amazing large-sized Esme the vampire figure. So to give you an idea of the value we're talking about here, that's 99 total minis in the core set. The base pledge includes all of them, plus the PDF of the Bestiary and the campaign, which we'll talk about in a sec, and the regular stretch goals, which they estimate to be about 50 additional minis, plus an add-on set. And the add-on sets are like another 45 minis depending on which one you choose, and there are a lot to choose from. We'll talk about them in a second. Or instead of an add-on of minis, you can choose to get hardcover versions of the Bestiary and the campaign. So we're talking close to 200 minis, or like 150 and 2 hardcover books. And that base pledge is just 89 euros, which comes out to be about $97 US right now, plus shipping. That's like 2 warbands from WizKids. I'm telling you, the Dungeons & Lasers Kickstarters are the best deal in tabletop gaming. Let me tell you a little bit more about the minis while I show you a couple that they sent me from this Kickstarter so you can see what to expect. First, these minis are to the same scale as the minis we get from WizKids and Reaper. They come unpainted and on sprues, so you will need to assemble and paint them yourself, but don't let that intimidate you. Trust me, my eyesight is garbage and my dex is my dump stat, and I had no trouble putting these together. Everything is very well designed and labeled and explained so you can assemble them very easily. These minis here were very quickly cut out and assembled. I haven't cleaned them up at all. You can use a hobby knife and a little sander to make them perfect before you prime and paint them, but really all you need for them to be table ready is some clippers and some super glue. They are made at their own internal factory so they can maintain quality control, and they aren't subject to delays from factors outside their control like COVID shutdowns in other countries. Actually, Dungeons & Lasers has a track record of delivering their Kickstarters a couple of months early. As you probably know, Kickstarters are to fund the creation of new products, so there's usually a lead time, and this Kickstarter is scheduled to be fulfilled in May 2024, but again, don't be surprised if you get your minis a little early. And their minis are made from hard plastic, not soft plastic, meaning that they'll take paint easier, they'll look better, and they won't be subject to drooping weapon syndrome or that severe warping that makes them look like world-class limbo dancers. The way they put it, they combine the 5e compatibility of WizKids minis with the relative cheapness of Reaper minis and the quality and durability of Games Workshop minis. And in my experience, that sounds about right. We've reviewed quite a few Archon minis and terrain sets over the years, and you can see those videos in the doohickey down below me. You can also get more bases than you need with each set, and these are terrain style bases that you can paint up, add grass to, whatever you like. You can mix and match them with your minis, and since you get like 25 to 50% more bases than you do minis in a set, you're gonna have plenty left over to play with. Now, let me show you some of the add-on sets you can get. Dungeons & Lasers Kickstarters generally have one core set that everybody gets, and then lots of add-on packs to let you mix and match the minis just so you can get exactly what you want. It is just a matter of how many add-on sets you want. Of Sea and Thunder has 45 models, expanding the Fortress of Dragza and the Rido Alliance sets with more cool figures, including that amazing Goblin Rasher pack there, plus the Monsters of Sea and Sky, which includes everything from goblins on gliders to a young kraken. The Playable Races pack is just that. If you're gonna play in the Deuslair world or bring aspects of it into your own campaigns, this set will give you 40 PC minis based on the races that they introduce in their Bestiary. All the minis in here are multi-part, so you can customize them, though they're designed around certain classes, as you can see. You can make 8 minis of each race, 4 male, 4 female, and there are 10 races in all for 40 total minis. Wereboars, centaurs, medusas, turtle-like creatures, and marrow. They have this little graphic on their Kickstarter page telling us a little bit more about each race. The Armies of Deuslair pack has 45 models featuring the elite troops from each of the 3 factions, with some especially cool large-sized Disciples of Chaos monsters that I quite like. Man, I really want to see these painted up, which does give me an idea. Stay tuned for later. Next up is the White Eyes Dunes with minis from the Cartageous Desert, a land with fallen empires buried under the sand. You get big ol' sandworms, mummies, ifrits, Lamassu, who we haven't seen since D&D 3rd edition, and more members of the Disciples of Chaos. You can also opt to get lots of sets from their previous campaigns, some of which you can see on the table here, and some of them behind me there. You can get packs and packs of minis and terrain, scatter terrain, all sorts of stuff. You can check out their old campaigns to learn even more details about each of those. And before I go over the other pledges and tell you a bit more about the books, let's talk stretch goals, because stretch goals are a huge thing in Dungeons & Lasers Kickstarters. If you're not steeped in the Kickstarter world like I am, stretch goals are additional things to get added to your order, generally for free, as a campaign as a whole reaches higher and higher funding goals. Dungeons & Lasers campaigns have regular stretch goals and super stretch goals. Here is their initial set of stretch goals, regular stretch goals, reaching up to 180,000 euros. There will be more added at regular intervals. For comparison though, just to think about it, their last Dungeons & Lasers Kickstarter reached 1.4 million euros, so there is a lot of room here for a lot of extra minis and stretch goals. And it's also a reason to help the campaign out by telling your friends and spreading the word online, because the better it does, the more minis you get. The super stretch goals are generally much larger figures, and so far they've announced a giant kraken at 100k and a pirate airship at 200k. So I presume that we're going to get a new stretch goal, super stretch goal, for every 100k or so that they make. You can see some other super stretch goals from their previous campaigns over here. Some of their last super stretch goals included things like that watchtower, that amazing giant, that dwarven mine entrance, and that really cool stagecoach and drag horse. Now, the pledge tiers are refreshingly simple. You can see them here. You can pledge €1 to get access to the add-ons a la carte, but the real magic starts at that novice €89 level tier that I talked about already. You get the core set of 99 minis plus one add-on set and the 50-ish stretch goal minis. You can jump up to €148 to also add in the super stretch goals, including the pirate airship, the kraken, and whatever else they unlock. At the €189 level, you can add on 2 more add-ons to your order, which you'll remember have about 45 minis each. At €269, you get to choose 6 add-ons, and at €369, or about $400, you can get 10 add-on packs. And don't forget that all the tiers from novice and above include the PDF of the bestiary and the campaign, and one of your add-ons can be the hardcover books. You don't have to worry about choosing your add-ons right now. You can make those calls in the Pledge Manager once the campaign is concluded. Let me give you just a few more details about the books. The bestiary is going to have more than 50 entries describing the playable races, the monsters, the organizations, and the other important aspects of the world. It will cover all the minis in the core set, so you'll be able to easily use them at your table. You also get loads of encounter tables, adventure hooks, and environmental descriptions. You'll get 5e stat blocks and system agnostic descriptions, so you're going to have some flexibility in slotting them into your games. The campaign will be a dark fantasy with morally ambiguous choices that your PCs are going to have to make. It'll be more than 250 pages long with multiple endings, a modular design so that you can adjust things like the story length and the mood and the tone of the adventure, and lots of vivid descriptions of the world of Deuslair, as your adventure is going to be traveling to more than 10 unique regions of the world. There's really just a few more things that you should know. Shipping will be paid in the Pledge Manager after the campaign is completed. Here's the chart from their Kickstarter page with the estimated shipping charges in euros. So do keep those shipping costs in mind. VAT, the value added tax, is included for EU and UK backers, but check all those details if you live in Europe. There are 2 other cute community stretch goals that you should know about. Yes, you can get a 3 kobolds and a trenchcoat mini once the campaign has 3,000 backers, and you can get Roblin the Goblin when they hit 5,000 backers. If you've backed a Dungeons & Lasers Kickstarter in the past, you'll get a free a Boulder mini with your pledge, and if this is your first campaign, you can add it on and be eligible for their return backer freebie next time around. And I think that's everything you need to know about Dungeons & Lasers 5, The World of Deuslair. The campaign is only scheduled to run for about 2 weeks, I think, so if you're interested, hop in early, especially to get that family of owlbears. The link is up there in the corner or in the doohickey down below me, and it's fun to follow along with the Dungeons & Lasers campaigns to see the crazy stretch goals as they unlock. The super stretch goals are going to be really interesting this time around. If you do pledge, you can do me a solid by letting them know that you heard about them from us. And again, you can check out the other Archon and Dungeons & Lasers videos, which we've made, in our links down below me, and then the link up there in the eye. If you have any questions, though, feel free to leave them for me down below. I'll get back to you. Also, let me know which of the add-on packs you like the best, because choosing which add-on sets to get is always the hardest part of these campaigns, and this one's going to be a doozy. And if you're new to me, hi, my name is Theo. I'm the co-proprietor of The Gallant Goblin. We review minis and terrain and adventures and games, and we make some things of our own as well. You can find us on YouTube and over on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, and probably a couple of other websites too. Until next time, stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I will see you next time at The Gallant Goblin.